Now, the question seems to be raised today. God gave His Word, but somehow or another He lost the power to protect it and to keep it. And so every Tom, Dick, and Harry came along and said, I believe I'll rewrite it. That's where humanism started, right? That built the atmosphere. And that tore up some things in this country when people began to say, well, we'll just rewrite it. We'll make it sound better, easier to read. Let me give you some things here. I didn't bring this. I didn't know I had it, but I saw it in my briefcase a while ago, so here it is. I'm glad I got it. I'm glad I got it. Now, the King James Bible is clarified. Took 130 to do it. Took $4,500,000 to pay for it. Now, this, and Sam Moore's my friend. He's been to see me. I love him. But let me tell you something. Love don't have a thing to do with my conviction. Now, you put that down. You'd say, well, I'm going to get married. Help yourself. But I want to show you some things. There's no use for people to read the King James or any other Bible if they can't understand it, says Mr. Sam Moore, President Thomas Nelson Publishers of Nashville, which turned out the refurbished version. Called the New King James Version, it clears away the often befuddling, obsolete usages and make the great old work currently comprehensible without losing the literary grandeur. In a matter of time, you get this. In a matter of time, the King James Version was going to be deserted if it was not updated, says scholar Arthur Farstead of Dallas, who headed the New Testament team for reworking. That heritage should not be lost. It's great literature. It's more than that. It's the Word of God. Brother, I've never found any need on earth that this Bible wouldn't meet, and you haven't either. And I'm just simply saying, some of these things we don't need. Why, he said, notice, he said, it is published by the same company that publishes the Revised Standard Version of 1952, which has been broadly approved by most major Protestant and Eastern Orthodox denominations and Roman Catholicism of virtual common Bible. Not with me. Now here's your Reader's Digest. They got just as much right and probably just as qualified to rewrite and butcher the Bible as Mr. Hinckley. I know it's endorsed by George Weber, New York Theological Seminary, Norman Vincent Peale, Oral Roberts, Duke K. McCall, David Hyatt, Orville Freeman, Donald Shriver, Brian M. Kirkland. You know what he said? Mr. Duke McCall, a creative, new, and effective approach. At a time when the Bible is still the unread bestseller in the land, I welcome this newest effort to entice people to read what God has said. You know, Norman Vincent Peale said, the Reader's Digest is to be congratulated for bringing the book on which our country was founded to the attention of the population in this reverently innovative manner. If that, hear me now, if that illegitimate child of a prostitute, and that's what it is, had it been on the Mayflower, it had never made it over here. You want my illustration? Here it comes. I weighed 80 pounds for 3 years. Looked like I'd never get any bigger. But suppose somebody knocked on my door. Mama said, Lester, Sonny boy, you better run to the door. Somebody's knocking. I go to the door, and I said, come on in. And a great big bruising-looking sort of a fellow walks in with a big butcher knife. I said, Bud, what you have on your mind? 80 pounds. He said, I want to see your mother. And I said, yes, sir. I'll be standing between you and my mother, as long as you got that butcher knife. I said, what have you got on your mind? And my sweet, wonderful, simple, precious mother said, Sonny boy, what does he want? I said, I don't know, he couldn't tell us. He said, Lester, is that your name? I said, yes, sir, Lester Leo. That's it. I still don't know what you're doing with that butcher knife. He said, son, I've come to cut away a bunch of your mother. There's too much of her. She's a little cumbersome. I'm going to cut off her left arm, her right leg, her left ear flap, and I'm going to cut out her right eye. Boy, can you see this freckle-faced boy? I said, man, you'll be lucky to get out of here alive. Listen, I'd climb up to his neck as fast as I could get there and choke him until I stopped him from breathing. Now, are you catching on now? Then why don't you preachers do something about it? Don't you realize they're butchering our mother being born again, not of corruptible seed, but of incorruptible by the word of God, which liveth and abideth forever? And I'm telling you, don't monkey with my mama. I'll fight you about it. I'm mad. There's never been a revival come out of the Revised Standard Version. Good news for modern men, living Bible for dead people. Never been anything good come out of them. You'd say, well, it's because you haven't been educated. I don't want no more education than I got now if I have to get like that. I've been to school 19 years of my life, but I'm glad I went to school when there wasn't nothing but this. I can remember the time when the old preacher said, let's all stand and read in unison. Try it now. Folks, the old preacher was preaching that when they got saved. The old preacher was preaching that when God laid his hand on my little ignorant soul and told me to preach it. I mean, that book is the source of everything good I've ever known in my life.